Susan Leventhal wants her ex-husband, Dr. Jerry Leventhal, to pay her for her son's medical and dental bills. Dr. Leventhal wants his former wife to stop stalking him and let him see his children.
Okay, first I'm going to get on your case. Son tells me that he went to Hebrew school for several years, but when it came to making a bar mitzvah, you told him he couldn't have one unless he wanted it at McDonald's. Did you ever say that to him, Dr. Leventhal?
No, Your Honor. Actually, my ex-wife.
You. I'm asking you, did you ever say that to him?
No, ma'am.
Why didn't this child, after having gone to Hebrew school training for years, why didn't he have a bar mitzvah? Of some sort. I'm not talking about one of those lavish things, you know, where they have clowns and photographers and dancers and all that kind of, but something.
At the time that Aaron was due to be bar mitzvahed, my ex-wife and I were separated. It was an extremely volatile situation, you know, it boiled down to if you had wanted your son to have a bar mitzvah, you would have paid for one. And that's her rationale. And I understand that, but
okay.
He didn't proceed with his Jewish teachings very long after we got to Orlando.
What I'm telling you is, perceptions for children are very important, Dr.
I understand
Leventhal. And Mrs. Leventhal, I want you to listen to this very carefully because I've spoken to your son.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
1 minute. Your Honor. You did notice that he was wearing a cross quite proudly around his neck, though, today. Okay.
I assume that he, at this point, Mrs. Leventhal, is being raised in your faith. Is that correct?
No, ma'am. For 15 years after marrying Jerry Leventhal, I practiced Judaism.
But then you divorced him.
And the child has chose now to start into learning about Christianity to mature in his faith.
Do you go to church now?
I do. I also stay active in the temple.
You know, you folks, you're going to really suffer the consequences. Especially you, Mrs. Leventhal. I'm telling you, I make no excuses for your former husband. I think that he's done a lot of things that are wrong. I really do. I think that he should have swallowed his pride, begged, borrowed, stole a couple of $1,000s to make his son a bar mitzvah. I don't care if it was a luncheon someplace, let you invite who you want to invite, just so that the boy would know that he went to school. So I don't make any excuses for him. And I don't make any excuses for the fact that you are probably very, very angry with him. You devoted, according to your papers, 20 years of your life, encouraging him through everything else. Bottom line is you hate him more than you love your children. And I'm telling you that because I've just interviewed your son. He wants to see his father. And his younger brother wants to see his father. And I'm telling you right now, you made a big deal over him grabbing your son by the scruff of the neck, trying to put soap in his mouth. Even your son Aaron is smart enough to know that if the two of you were living together and your 9-year-old or 8-year-old at the time called his father that kind of name, your son Aaron is smart enough to know that that's probably what would have happened and you would have been right behind him in the bathroom. But because it was, put your hand down, but because it was done when you were separated, there was a big deal made out of it. Mrs. Leventhal, I am telling you that you're supposed to love your children more than you hate each other. Your children didn't ask to be born. Your children are going to feel as if there is a lack of support that they would be showing to you if they repeatedly said, we want to see our father, we want to see our father, because they know how hurt you are, how devastated you are, how angry you are with him, and you're their mother and they live with you. And the two of you aren't doing the right thing if you don't put aside every other acrimonious feeling that you have towards each other and say, your mother's a great gal, your father's a great guy, we couldn't live together, we're divorced. That's it. The rest of our business has nothing to do with you, so that your children shouldn't have to listen to you on the phone talking to anybody else about what a deadbeat their father is. Think that that's happened? Mrs. Leventhal.
They have not heard me say he's a deadbeat, but that his behavior is inappropriate and unaccountable for. Yes, ma'am. I am as honest about that as I can be. I've never said their father's a terrible person. I've said I want you to know your father.
Listen, what you sow, you will reap. You made 2 children, and you're not supposed to make them into emotional cripples. They want to see their father, and you shouldn't put anything in the way, any restrictions in the way. If the two of you don't get along and they want to see their father, you don't say, if your father comes here to pick you up, you can see him, which is what you say. Your father, that's what your son Aaron says. That's what Aaron says. If your father wants to come and pick you up, he can come here whenever he likes.
That's what I say.
Well, first
Yes,
you said
ma'am.
no, then you said yes.
I said when his father wants to come, yes. If he practiced reasonable and calm visitation and did not emotionally and physically hurt them.
Are you talking about the soap incident?
No, I'm talking about the reason he left our home in '95 under domestic violence.
Listen
up
to me.
until this.
Listen to me.
Your Honor,
Madam,
you need to know the history.
No, I don't, because I have a judgment of divorce that stops there. The judgment of divorce provides for visitation.
Since that time.
Just a second. That's all I'm interested in. That was in 1996. So I'm not interested in what happened in 95, 94, 93.
Well, since that time,
Only
he's
that.
not exercised his visitation.
Judge Judy is ready to rule. Call 1-888-800-JUDY.
Mrs. Leventhal, you want to know something? I'm giving you the money that you're requesting for your orthodontic work, $3,300.
Thank you.
And I'm telling you that if you want to help your children, you'll go into some serious.
We are in counseling.
You, not them. You will go into some serious anger management therapy because
I have been through it. Thank you.
Because your problems are so deep-rooted. And I'm not saying that you don't have cause. And I'm not saying that he was a great husband. I'm not saying he was a fair husband. Maybe he was a lousy husband. You are going to destroy your children unless you get it together. I am dismissing your counterclaim, sir, but I'm not giving her the $5,000 she's requesting. I'm giving her $3,300 for the orthodontist only. And Mrs. Leventhal, if you love your children, you'll put yourself in some serious counseling because you're the one who is the custodial parent, and you are a very sick lady. That's all.
Why is that excused? You may step out. I'll be back with you right now.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy. Judge Judy.
Party's on Y versus Davis. Step forward, please.
30-year-old operator Ron Y. says former roommate, 44-year-old reservation clerk James Davis, slandered him by sending flyers around the neighborhood.
Order. All rise. Hello. Hey. Your Honor, this is case number 108 on the calendar in the matter of Y versus Davis. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
How do you pronounce your last name, sir?
Y.
Mr. Y, according to these papers, you rented a room from the defendant.
Yes, I did.
And you're suing him for slander.
Yes.
Say he evicted you.
No.
You left.
Yes.
He has a countersuit for some money that he alleges that you owe him, along with some other things that I'll get to in due course. So how did you find him as a roommate?
He owns a computer line, and I logged on to it, and that's how I met him.
Did you go for an interview?
I know I met him prior to it, and he had told me that he had needed a roommate, and he said that his roommate was moving out and he needed someone to move in.
And what was your financial arrangement with him?
$300 a month.
What about utilities?
Well, my fair share of utilities was fair to me.
We
didn't have like you're going to pay this, you're going to pay that. It was $300 a month, and I was going to pay my share of the utilities. That's
well,
the
how
way
many
that it
people
went.
were living in the house?
2.
So you were going to pay 50% of the utilities?
Well, at first, that's what it started out to be, yes.
So what was the trouble?
The trouble was I started getting, Mr. Davis started handing me these every single month, and they're not the bills from the utility companies. They're bills that he printed out on his computer. Mm-hmm. And he would give them to me every month, and about 3 months into it, I said, these bills are getting a little ridiculous for 2 people living in one apartment. He has a computer line which has 15 computers in there, and he's got 2 refrigerators and all kinds, and in the front room has a computer, and he has all kinds of stuff, and he runs the air conditioner 24/7. So I didn't feel that it was my responsibility to pay his part of the utilities. So I told him.
When you say part, so you didn't, when you moved in, you didn't have a clear understanding of, other than the rent, what share of the utilities
well,
you were
I
going to
agreed to pay half at the time until I started getting these bills, and I thought they were ridiculous.
And you saw that half was a lot more than you thought you were using. Did you pay the rent?
Yes.
Every month that you were there?
Yes, I did.
Okay, how many months were you there?
6 months.
And I assume that that's true because he does not, in his countersuit against you, say that you owe him for any rent. Mm-hmm. So why did you move out?
I moved out because at the time he was just like, the bills were getting to me too much. Me and him weren't talking at all, and I just wanted to get out of there. You know, I was just getting tired of having to deal with him every single day. Every time I walk in, I go, "Hi, Jim, how you doing?" And he'd be like, "Hi," you know, just like real depressing all the time. And I don't want to be in that kind of an environment, you know. And
so you left, and what happened
exactly.
after you left?
After I left, at the time I was on unemployment. You know, I should make that fact clear. And he knew, and he was complaining that my rent wasn't on time. But you know, I can't make the government pay any time, and he knew that I was on it prior. So he started saying, "Well, you need to pay the bills." And then he sent a letter to my mother's address, and the letter that I have right here in hand. And he said that I owed him $275, which is the first, and that would be that.
Okay, so he says you owe him $275.
Right. Mm-hmm. And in that letter, he states that he has my last unemployment check. He said that he will not give it to me unless I bring him cash, which is blackmail in my opinion. And I told him, I told him, you know what, I will be over there this Saturday, and we will settle this. And I went over there that Saturday, and I called the police station. And I called the police station, had a police officer meet me there and grab my stuff and leave. On that letter, he states that the carpets were cleaned. He states that the walls were done. None of it was done. I walked in with the police officers, and nothing had been cleaned, nothing had been done, nothing. And I had wiped down the walls, cleaned everything, and vacuumed and everything upon leaving.
You got your check. Your unemployment check.
Yes, I did. Finally, with the police's help.
So what are you complaining about, sir?
I'm complaining because after that, Mr. Davis decided that he was going to send a flyer out. With on the third paragraph down, it says that he was going to send a flyer out saying that...
That's not true, Judge.
Shh, just a second.
Excuse me. It says that he was on that. There is a threat on there that he was going to blackmail me, which is blackmail. That if you do not pay me, then I have no other alternative but to send mass email links along with flyers with your picture on it. About a month later, after I went with the police to get my stuff, he sends this to my mother's address, which is this one. And he also, I want to add too that I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I was anonymous at the time, and I volunteer once a week at this place where alcohol people go. And Mr. Davis sent one of those letters also to the people there, you know, where he broke my anonymity. I used to have a private life. Now I don't have a private life anymore because this guy, nobody knew who I was. Now all of a sudden everybody knows who I am because of this letter. He also states on that, you know, I owe people money and all, you know, and he has no proof of anything there, you know. And I just don't think that it's fair that someone should be able to get away with something like that. You know, I can't go anywhere now, and I'm afraid that people are looking at me funny. I can't even live in my own city that I used to live in anymore.
You're talking about both of these pieces
Yes,
of
they
paper.
both came. And they also went...
I can't read and listen to you at the same time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just show these to the defendant, please. Have you ever seen those before, sir?
Neither one of them, ma'am. No.
Excuse me, Your Honor. This man owns a computer company, and that picture was taken on Valentine's Day with a good friend. The day after Valentine's Day, because I moved out the 22nd of February out of him, I asked him, Jim, can you scan this on your scanner and put it on a disk?
That's not true, Your Honor.
Shh, just a second.
And he did scan it and put it on his disk. He's the only one with that copy of that picture. He's the only one that could have had that copy and made it, you know, and put it on a computer so he could print it out on that.
What about the person who took it?
The person who took it?
Yes.
It's a Polaroid. There's only one copy of that picture, and I have a copy in my possession, but that one was made...
Let me see it.
Well, I don't have it with me. I didn't know that I was supposed to... That was my... The picture, I was at the Alano Club, and it was made on a Polaroid. And I asked him, could you make a copy of this for me so I can have it on disc?
Does that sound familiar to you, sir?
Not at all, ma'am. I never saw that picture until just now. This is the first time I've seen either of these.
And also, if you notice, on that letter, the first letter that I got a month prior, on the third paragraph down, it states that he will send a picture out with flyers all over the city.
Well, it says, if necessary, the mass distribution of flyers all over the city of Long Beach and Whittier. Why did you threaten that, sir?
I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about, ma'am.
Just a second.
This thing that he just said that he doesn't have, that he didn't ever saw, has his signature on it and everything.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
A letter that you attribute to him was not signed by him.
Okay, but he has a stamp. his signature. That's not a sign, that's a stamp. And also on this it says...
Just a second. You got more excuses than Carter has pills.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Ron Wise says his former roommate, James Davis, slandered him by sending a flyer around his neighborhood. James is countersuing for unpaid rent and utilities.
Could you have the defendant write his name 4 times, please? Thank you. Well, I tell you right now, Mr. Y, I have the answer and countersuit by Mr. Davis with his signature on it. That is not the same signature on this letter.
But, Your Honor...
It is not the same signature, Mr. Y, as is on this letter. No way, shape, or form. Now, I want you to take a look at it. Just so that you'll see. This is the countersuit, and the defendant had absolutely no knowledge that I was going to compare signatures, and the signature that he has just made 4 times matches the signature on the countersuit, not the signature on that letter that you attribute to him. How did you get to court today, sir?
Drove.
You have your driver's license with you?
No, ma'am, it's in the car. I'll leave it in the glove box.
Do you have anything else in your possession with your signature on it? Yeah, credit card.
Credit card?
Good. Let me see it. Great. Got a couple of those? The signature on all of his credit cards, sir, matched the signature on his countersuit, matched the signature on the 4 handwriting exemplars that he just gave me. So the letter that you attribute to this man was not signed by him.
Okay, but he has a stamp, his signature. That's not a sign, that's a stamp. This is a stamp with his thing on it.
No, ma'am,
and also on this it says...
Just a second. You got more excuses than Carter has pills. Let me see it. Say it was a stamp. I didn't see there was a stamp.
On that letter, it states that he has my unemployment check and he has my belongings. He just agreed to that he'd had it. Now, if he agreed to having my stuff and I had to bring the police in to get it, why wouldn't he agree that that was his letter?
It's just not his signature. I didn't say it wasn't his letter, sir. I said it's not his signature.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any reason, sir, to send out this kind of filth to anybody?
No, ma'am. According to my attorney, I should have just dropped the matter, which I did. I was going to go to court and file a case of small claims, but because Mr. Y was underemployed, he said I would have basically a snowball's chance in hell of collecting.
How many places did you live, sir, in the past year?
2.
His place and your prior residence? And how long did you live in your prior residence?
6 months.
And on what street was that?
That was on Bermuda.
Did you leave owing any money there?
No, the bills were all in my name, and so was the apartment.
What I have a problem with is, I have a problem with your suit because it's really hard to ascertain. He says he didn't send those things out, and certainly they are slanderous.
Oh, definitely.
They are slanderous, so I can't imagine why any normal person would send that out, especially since, according to your countersuit, sir, as best as I can come up with, you say unpaid utilities, $206. Okay? Then you say a credit for deposit, which means he gets a credit for $100, right?
Yeah, he was supposed to have had a $300.
He gets a credit for deposit, which means he owes you $106. Then it says late charges on rent, $200. I discount that. He paid you the rent. Then it says carpet replacement. Do you have receipts for the replacement of the carpet to show me what damage he did to the carpet?
It was either a bottle of mouthwash or a bottle of soda or something that was red. It was bright red. I had a carpet cleaning company come in and try and get it out, and they could not remove it.
You spill anything on that was red, sir?
Well, yes, it was mouthwash, in fact, and it was on my dresser, and I came home one day, and above my dresser was a vent, and he's not allowed to go into my room, and I don't know why he was in my room, but he put a vent, plastic cover over the vent to diffuse the air, and that was on the ground, so I wiped it up, and and that was not for me. I mean, I know it was my room and it was in my possession at the time, but I did not drop over that mouthwash.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Mr. White, you made a contract with him for $300 a month and 50% of the utilities.
Yes.
And then you unilaterally wanted to change that.
Right.
Right? You can't do that.
Closed captioning sponsored in part by Real Cases, Real People, Judge Judy. Ron Wise says he was slandered by a flyer written by James Davis. James says he's never seen the flyer before today.
My problem is, Mr. Why?
Why?
I need proof that he sent those things.
He's the only one with that picture. He's the only one in the world that could have had that picture. I have that picture in my photo album at home. He's the only one that made a copy of it, and I put it on a disc, and I have the disc of it at home, too.
Who else got those?
One was the Alano Club, where I was an anonymous member of Alcoholics Anonymous. That's for sure one. I went over there, and they called me up, and they said, guess what, we got a letter. And then one came to my mother's address, one went to my dad's address. These are my parents' addresses, and he's the only one who could have known that.
Mr. White, if you weren't getting along for a very long time and you moved out in February, why would you ask him to do you a favor and scan something into his computer?
Well, because it wasn't like I was planning on moving out. He didn't know that I was planning on moving out. I just wanted to get out of there because he was depressing.
It's not true, Your Honor.
Just a second.
And every time I would come home, he would be like, oh,
I heard what you said, sir. My question to you is if it was miserable enough so that you had decided that you were going to move out.
Because at the time I was putting my feelers out to find another roommate. And nobody had said,
I understand that. I mean, are we talking apples and oranges here? What I asked you is why would you ask him to do you a favor and scan something in his computer for you if you really weren't talking to each other?
Because I wanted a picture of it. And he was sitting on his computer, and I said, hey, Jim, can you scan this for me?
No. Why?
Because I wanted it on a disc.
According to you, you had it. You had the Polaroid picture. You said it was a Polaroid. You had
it is a Polaroid.
You had a Polaroid picture. So why do you need another one?
Because I wanted it on my computer as on my desktop. I wanted it on my computer, so when you turn my computer on, I have a picture of me and my friend. That's what I wanted. And that's how it started out.
I don't know if I'm satisfied. Listen. You proved to me that he owes you $106 for utilities?
I only brought the one phone bill with me, ma'am.
From what month?
February, ending February 22nd.
And what does it say?
Well, the total for the month was $244.96, but I went through and highlighted all of his phone calls on the bill.
Would you take a look at this bill? Thank you.
Okay.
Now look at the things that are highlighted.
Well, some of the phone numbers are mine. I'm not going to disagree that some of these phone numbers are mine. But on all the bills, he charges me phone taxes plus basic service charges and all these ridiculous amounts of money for bills. I was paying $350 a month in bills.
That's not true, Your Honor.
You have to cancel checks for him for utilities? For the utilities that
No,
you
I
paid
gave him
cash. You gave him cash?
I gave him
He
cash.
always paid me cash, and I
paid him in
recorded
cash.
it. And every time he gave me a payment, I gave him a new printout showing where he gave me the payment.
But towards the end, right before I moved out, that's when I said I wanted to see the bills because the bills were too high. And he wouldn't show them to me.
He could have looked at them at any time. They always sat on my desk.
No. I asked him.
They were always on my desk. He could have looked at them at any time.
Then if I could have looked at them any time.
Mr. Davis, did he ask you to see at any time the original bills?
No, ma'am, he did not. The agreement on when he moved in was $300 a month in rent, $300 security deposit, which he only paid $100 of.
Which is a lie.
He was to pay 50% of the electric, 50% of the gas.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Call 1-888-800-JUDY.
It sounds reasonable, sir, that when you move in, you say, I'm going to pay this much in rent, and this is the portion of the utilities that I'm going to pay. You agreed to pay 50%.
At first.
There was no change, ma'am.
Then you got angry that you were paying 50% because he was using more utilities than you were because he was running a business out of it.
Right.
Right.